Hi, I'm Brianna Hager, and I'm reporting for Hofstra University, and I'm going to ask people about the upcoming baseball season.
Who do I feel is the best team in baseball right now? Wow, what a question.
This year, you have to go with the Detroit Tigers. You just look at their lineup from top to bottom. They're going to be the best team. They have Miguel Cabrera coming off a Triple Crown year. Prince Fielder, he already hit a couple of home runs the other day against the Yankees in the series. And then, of course, when you have Justin Verlander leading, what's a pretty good starting rotation, you got to think the Tigers are a favorite to repeat as AL champs and possibly be World Series champs.
You know, as a Mets fan, I kind of have the rooting edge for them, especially after the win yesterday. I was there at the game, and it was really good. So, but the Red Sox also are pretty good right now, I would say.
I think the Boston Red Sox have a pretty good chance of being the best team. They started off this season really dominant. They won the first two series, which they haven't been able to do since 2008, and they have won the home opener today against the Orioles. So I think they have a pretty good chance, especially under John Farrell's direction.
I'm a little biased. I'm going to say the Yankees, but I think they'll win. I mean, Peyton's starting, but right now there's a lot of players that are injured, and of course they're like slacking a little bit, and they're not making as many wins as people would expect. But I don't know. I think they're going to come back, and that they will be stronger than ever. So we just have to wait it out.
I'm going to have to go with, well, there's two answers to this question. One, I'm going to go with my Texas Rangers. They're 4-2 and came up with two. They won the series against the Los Angeles Angels, 2 out of 3. But do I think who has the best team since it's such an early season? I'm going to go with the Washington Nationals.
Boy, it's tough because it's very early right now and things can get crazy. I think at the National League, you definitely got to look at teams in the West like the Dodgers and the Giants, because I think with a strong division, you're going to have stronger teams come out of it naturally. And I think in the American League, happens every year, but I think the Rangers would definitely surprise them, and the Tigers, you can't count them out because they got a lot of healthy players and a lot of great talent.
You say that they're going to be a big contender. Who do you think could challenge that possibly?
Anyone in the American League East, people are saying that that's the most competitive division of baseball. You expect that again this year. The Blue Jays have all these new acquisitions, R.A. Dickey in the rotation, Mark Burley, Josh Johnson. They make Jose Reyes the new starting shortstop, so you got to think they're a threat. You can never count out the Yankees. The Red Sox are expected to have a down year. I think they're going to be better than some people think.
Why do you feel that way?
I think they're stacked across the board. They have a great pitching staff led by Steven Strasburg, Gio Gonzalez, Jordan Zimmerman, and they have Dan Hare. I know he had a bad start, a terrible start against the Reds, but he's a really good pitcher. And their offense is now led by phenom Bryce Harper. He's a really good guy. I don't really like him, but he's a good guy.
It's going to be an interesting season this year. I think a lot of the front runners, you got the Blue Jays, you have the Anaheim Angels. People I think are going to do really good, but I don't think they're going to do as well as expected. I think a lot of times when you get those teams that get these great players, I mean, you look at the Angels last year, Pujols didn't perform that well. Now you have Hamilton not performing as well. I think we're going to see a lot of the underrated teams step up and take a big spot.
I was actually telling my uncle last night, and he said there's very weak divisions, which I agree with. The NL East is very weak, so the Mets couldn't easily get up there, knock out the Phillies, knock out the Marlins. So I think it's all about the divisions and who they're facing against that. And now the Yankees, they're normally a big contender for that number 1 seed spot, but do you feel that they'll be able to rebound from these injuries and be a contender for that top seed?
They're getting off to that slow start, but you got to think once everyone else comes back, they're going to be a team that you have to watch out for. They can hit home runs at an alarming rate, especially at Yankee Stadium. Mark Teixeira had a couple of down years. You'd expect him to have probably 20 home runs, 80 runs batted in, depending on when he comes back. Derek Jeter, the timeless wonder, always does his thing at shortstop. And you got to think that starting rotation is pretty darn good, led by CC Sabathia, so can never count out the Yankees.
Fortunately, with the amount of injuries that you're seeing and the severity, and they're reoccurring, and I think that's the big problem, especially with Derek Jeter. It's reoccurring. It happened last October. You thought he was better. It happened again in spring training. I think it'll be a hurtful year for them, I think, because of the injuries and the fact that they reoccur.
Well, everyone's counting out the Yankees because of all the injuries, and yes, it's going to be a huge blow. They won't do as well as they have done in the past years, but I think when you're on a team that has that much legacy and has that much success just inherently getting into the playoffs, they will find a way, whether it's via one of the wild cards or if they find a way to muster up and win their division. So I definitely don't count the Yankees out. I can still see them in the playoffs.
Teixeira's supposed to come back in May, Granderson's supposed to come back in May, or early June or somewhere around there. I think they have enough time to get healthy so they can be a threat come playoff time. I don't know if they'll be a threat to the AL East. I think that the Blue Jays might have a big shot at that. Boston's playing really well as of right now. I know it's early in the season. Even Baltimore, they have a really good team, judging by what they did last year. So I think it'll be tough, but I think they'll be in that wild card race most likely with those teams I just mentioned.